Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your man, 100 Grand, your personal agent for change, making life easy, Barzini.
And I'm Fempreneur Extraordinaire, Tech Diva all day, Dre Renee.
And this is the Crossroads, where there's only one rule.
Be free to be you.
I saw you about to do it. He's like, did he forget his line?
No, I was trying to make sure I remember my own. I really wasn't.
I literally was like, wait, do I
It's
see
really
that?
about me. I'm trying to get myself.
Yo,
Not judging.
We back like we never left. We've missed y'all. I've missed you, best friend.
Oh, I don't know. After the conversation we had just briefly before, I don't think he missed me, y'all. He forgot all about me. I ain't even up on the good news. I'm just like, oh,
that's
drown my sorrows.
Yeah, ain't no news. Ain't no news.
All right, well, good.
But yeah,
maybe I don't feel so left behind.
I mean, I have to catch you up, but it ain't no news.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
You know,
well, happy holidays, all.
Yeah.
Welcome.
And all of that. While y'all starting all kind of drama on my page today that we gonna jump into.
Ooh, it going down?
Oh, it was going
I saw
up.
some things, but I was going up. Okay.
Yeah, it was going up actually. They was kind of lit.
On a Tuesday. Wasn't that a song? Going
up. On a Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
We still ain't got no sense. But first things first, I want to shout out our Lakers, on winning the in-season tournament. And I know all the haters is like, that don't mean nothing. First of all, let me tell you why it does mean something. It means something because it was something to win, right?
That
part. Simple as that. Right? It was a tournament. There were games played. Games were supposed to be won. And we won them. Bottom line.
We won them.
You know what I'm saying? And so we know who didn't win them. Oh yeah, this is what we do. Cheers to y'all.
Cheers to you.
You know what I'm saying? But shout out to the Lakers. I mean, blew out the Pelicans by 44. Then came and beat the Pacers, who beat the Celtics, the Sixers, and the Bucks. So yeah, that was
by default. We beat all of them.
You know what I'm saying? Now if we got to beat them head to head because we play Boston on Christmas Day, I believe.
Oh, you're always trying to ruin my holidays.
Yeah, and you know how I get after we playing right now. As a matter of fact, we playing Dallas, and you know how I am when we lose.
Yeah, just don't turn it on. Wait till tomorrow and see what happens.
That's what I do because the games be on so late. So by the time the game is over, I'll be asleep, and then I got to wake up in the morning and check the score. So that's how I keep from ruining my night.
I was in Texas, in September, and I think that was when Colorado was playing. It wasn't basketball, but still, I was up till 1:30 in the morning. I was like, "Who does? You guys do this on a regular basis?" Oh heck no, I would never watch.
This is what life,
especially the kind of game it was. It was like nail biting. Can't go to sleep because you're gonna miss something.
Exactly. So
that's crazy.
The Laker home games come on at 9. So oh, okay, Pop. So Pops, listen, Pops came out here to visit, and I gave him some Crown Apple. He was like, "Oh, this is smooth. I like that."
Yeah.
Then we went to Slim's, and they had some peach over there. He liked that even better. So now he a Crown connoisseur. He got him a drink now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And drinking dark at that. So I had him chilling up in the lounge area. But
all right, I see y'all coming in. Welcome. Hello. Happy Tuesday. Happy holidays.
Look,
all of that.
So the world's been going up since we've been gone. But before we get into all of that, we're gonna pay these bills because we're probably gonna talk about some paying bills in today's show. I'm pretty sure it's gonna go there. So y'all, per usual, the Crossroads Podcast is brought to you by the House of 334.
It's the house.
For all your business, branding, and copyright needs, go to houseof334.com. It is Black owned, it is woman owned, it is Black woman owned. It is amazing. And make sure you move quick because the house fills up fast. The Crossroads Podcast is also brought to you by The Crossroads. Y'all, you can follow everything we do by going to our bit.ly. That's bit.ly/The Crossroads. That's THEXROSSROADZ. And follow everything that we do. Make sure that you scroll down on this page and subscribe. We need those subscriptions, y'all. So we back like we never left, and we still want to get those numbers up. We're so close to that goal, y'all. We try to get to 500. We were like 20 something away. So y'all, if you have not subscribed, subscribe right now. Share the link, send it to your friends, ask them, hey, do me a favor, subscribe to the show because it's dope. And I'm not saying that just because it's me. It's a dope show. That's why you're here. But you can definitely help us out with those subscriptions. And to those who want to donate to the show, we appreciate everyone who continues to donate to keep the show going. You can donate a little, you can donate a lot. We appreciate it all the same. But y'all, this is a labor of love, and love ain't free. And if you think it is, go tell your landlord that you love them. So, and if you want to send us any messages, you can send us an email. Our email is about to come up on the screen in a second, right there, crossroadspodcast@gmail.com. If you have questions that you want to send us for the show, if you have show topics, or you want to be a guest on the show, just send us an email. We will get back to you. And if all things work out, I can't say we're going to guarantee that you on the show, but if you have a compelling enough story, presence, or whatever, then we will, add you to the show. It's a business, y'all, so we can't just have y'all on here because you want to be on TV or you.
TV.
Well, it's YouTube. YouTube is TV. There's YouTube TV.
It is. That's where I watch it.
Right. So, yeah, we ain't trying to boost your ego. We trying to feed the demographic and the audience what they want. What's going on? One of our regular roadies in the building.
Yes.
We appreciate all our roadies and road dogs. So,
cheers.
We might as well just go on and get into it because it's gonna be. I'm gonna preface the tonight's topic with it's been a lot going on romantically in the world and in the world of celebrities since we've been going. But you got Nelly and Ashanti done spun the block. And not only
I'm gonna say they did more than spin.
Yeah, I was gonna say
spun the block.
Listen, they spun the block
parked the car at this point and pulled into the garage.
Well, something else been pulled into the garage. You know what I'm saying? So reportedly, Ashanti is now pregnant. First of all, this is not good news.
Uh-oh. Why not?
Because of Ashanti. Like, I love
be more.
I
was about to say, give us a little more.
Like
she was supposed to hold out, wait for you.
Yes, you know what I'm saying.
Child.
Came back and took my boo on no talking that whatever dirty. If it wasn't for the money, I probably would have had a shot. He's just famous. That's all.
He's just famous.
He just famous. He like
just want to pour his pimp juice. That's all.
And I used to love that song. I ain't playing no Nelly no more. Nelly, I used to rock with you, dog, but you done took my woman.
I mean, I hope that it works out, right? I've seen quite a bit of commentary. A lot of women are being very critical. I definitely have seen people like, oh my God, I can't wait. I can't believe she waited to 43 to be a baby mama. I mean, she wanted to have a kid as far as I know. And so, she could have had one by now. And so she chose to do it with him. I'd have to assume that was, something that she wanted to do. And either she came to terms with, hey, I'm not going to be a wife, or we don't know. Maybe she will be a wife after all of this. We don't, we really don't know anything, but let these people live. Jeez.
And especially you ladies, because y'all stay telling somebody to stay out your uterus, right? Your body, your choice.
Yes.
Stay white. Because if it's dudes that was saying it, get out her uterus, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, man, please.
Nelly hasn't been cheesing the same, though. I haven't seen him since the announcement, so I don't know.
It's a couple of well, I saw some pictures with Ashanti not really smiling as big, you know what I'm saying, since the announcement, but
I mean, that'll do it to you, I'm assuming, having a baby at 43, and was he like 50? Something? Barzini, help me out here. Okay. Oh God.
I
Just
am in
fact check
full.
it. He's like,
I
I
am in
don't care how.
full hater mode. I just want you to
Clearly,
know. You
clearly,
know what
I'm
I'm
like,
saying?
you're not
Like,
even
see,
trying to.
people think we be
Listen.
hating on Russell Wilson, and
49.
no.
Okay, he's
Okay,
49
I
years
am
old.
on record hating on Nelly. All right, Nelly is nothing personal, but you know what I'm saying. Yes, it is.
Okay,
I'm taking
Shantae.
it personal.
Best wishes. Thank you. Let's get some positivity out there. Don't worry
Mhm.
about Barzini, but yes, best wishes to them on their renewed relationship. And they've been rocking now for quite some time. So, it wasn't just like, oh, a summer fling or whatnot.
Mhm.
They seem to be in there and having fun. From what I understand, because I can't speak on it, parenting will, jolt you back into reality. So we'll see.
Mhm. Yeah. I remember somebody
We'll
did
see.
somebody check in on Irv Gotti
Yeah, he's probably somewhere
on
going
Suicide
through it.
Watch.
Going through it.
Hey, you know
Going through it.
them interviews gonna be lit.
That man. He is something else. He is something
Hey,
else.
I love Gotti's interviews though. But in not so happy news, Coach Prime and Tracy, his fiance Tracy Edmonds have separated. You know, they announced on social media. And
Mm-hmm.
it was a nice couple. You know what I'm saying? It looked to in the public eye, it looked like pretty solid. But who knows what goes on behind closed doors? So maybe they might spin the block. But
Well,
she's like, I don't.
I mean, they could. Anything's possible for anybody. So they were together 11 years
Mhm.
and engaged for the past 4 years. And to my understanding, they've never lived in the same space. So season one alert. If you are not an original roadie or road dog, go back to season one to our long distance relationships episode. And I'm telling you exactly what needs to happen if you want your LDR to have a chance. Now they're all not going to work out, but if you wanted to have a chance, there's one thing. Well, there's a couple of things, but there's one thing that they did not do that I think is leading to where we are here, and that's on that episode. So go watch it. Go watch it.
I'm like, what? I'm waiting for it too. I gotta go watch more.
No, you gotta close the gap. At some point, you have to have a plan.
Mhm.
You have to have a plan to close the
Mhm.
gap. Like,
Mhm.
what is it? Cheryl Lee Ralph and her husband,
Mhm.
they've been together, what,
Like
20
28 years, something like that.
some years? Talking about we gonna live together now. Hey, they have a plan.
Hey,
Like
hey,
at
they
some
play
point,
they played the long game.
you got to get it, you got to get together. And
Mhm.
he has moved a couple of times since they've been together. And I guess Colorado is closer to LA than Jackson, Mississippi and
Mhm.
Dallas, Texas. But still, that's, even as a celebrity, of course you have, well, I won't say you have the freedom and flexibility. You have the means to be
Mhm.
able to fly and be back and forth. But I'm sure
We assume anyway,
it's hard. We assume. We
because
assume.
he wasn't getting paid at Jackson.
Yeah. Well, then there's that. Then there's that.
So yeah, a whole lot to it.
Okay, here's some comments. I'm pro geriatric pregnancy. Let's get it for the 40 plus crew. Woo, woo. Look, if it works for you and it's safe for you and you're able to provide a warm, loving home for this little baby and you can raise them, then yes, more
This
power.
little baby this little baby.
I wasn't trying to be any kind of way. This little baby.
Mhm.
Yeah, more power to it. I mean, we're seeing that more now
Mhm.
than we have probably ever before.
And
Folks are more settled.
speaking of babies, I want to give a shout out to my new nephew, Tate Addison. The Addisons have who were
Oh,
on the show season one. They have given birth to their first child. They had a son uh on
oh,
December 1st. So shout out to the
baby
Addisons.
Addison.
Shout out to young Tate. They're
Okay.
excited about it. So yeah.
Well, Not to be
not,
outdone.
not
To be outdone. Shout out to my grandnephew. Okay, like I have a nephew, and now my nephew has a junior. So little Anthony Ray Jr., born November 18th. So yeah, I'm just over the moon. He is gorgeous, he's healthy, and we're excited for his life. So shout out to baby Tate and baby Anthony Ray. Future geriatric mother. Come on, geriatric mothers. Now they're calling them advanced medical age, because geriatric is kind of rude. So now they call them, you're at advanced medical age.
I'm so sick of new terms. Okay. Advanced,
and I feel like it starts at like 35. We're talking about 40 plus, but yeah, look at you. It starts like 35. They start being real rude with you, having you take all these extra tests, and it's a lot. So if it's something that you plan to do, and you're older, just be prepared. Taking care of your body early is important. Your vitamins, all kind of stuff, do that.
Well, shout out to the last of my mama's children that will have a child.
Hey,
because 3 out of 4 ain't bad.
3 out of 4 ain't bad. Mine got 1 out of 2. So hey,
listen, and I don't. But the crazy part is, my mama only calls me about having kids. She don't pester none of my siblings, about having grandchildren. I don't know what it is about me that she wants me to procreate. But she says she giving up hope. I think
something in you. She sees something.
She ain't gonna see nothing in me.
You know what I mean? Oh Lord, pawns, right?
Yeah, huge pawn. Listen. This woman sends me a Happy Father's Day message every year in hopes that one day it comes true.
Hilarious.
I be like, Mama, I ain't got no kids.
Practicing.
Yeah. You got a whole son that got 3 kids.
Yeah.
And then my baby sister.
Mine is like, if you don't, then you don't.
You see who's done joined the fray.
Oh, yeah.
Dad. Come on. Yeah, now my dad is on my head about having kids. Okay.
Child, look.
All right, bet. I'll go ahead.
Kids are expensive. Kids are. I was with one of my sorority sisters this weekend, and she has children. Loves them. Is a great mom. And we were driving along, and she was like, "Look, unless you really, really want kids, don't have them." I almost spit my water out. She was just like, just don't, because everything becomes about them. And of course, I mean, that, or at least I hope that, like in your mind, like, okay, everything, or I have to focus on this baby. And then it doesn't just stay a baby, right? Then it gets bigger.
And it starts having opinions.
Bigger, and it talks and all these things.
And you don't like the things it says.
Because it's going to sound like you. And then you like, if I knuckle up on this mini-me, right? And so it's that, like, your time, your energy, your everything goes into this little person. And then you have to contend with what they're learning when they go out into the world, in school, and parents that are not parenting, and keeping them oh God, forget about the internet. The internet, and keeping them entertained. And for those of us who are older parents, you would want to do special things for your kids, right? Making sure that they're exposed to different cultures, or travel, or all these things. And this is like, oh my gosh, even daycare. Oh my Lord.
Well, good thing I didn't cost a whole lot. I was self-sufficient.
Oh, you self-sufficient? You came out the womb changing your own diapers and feeding yourself?
I'm like, I just took it off. I'm like, hey, can y'all do something with this?
Like Bebe's kids.
Like, hey, let me get another one of them real quick.
Oh gosh. So it's just a lot.
Man.
That's a lot. Yeah. Hey, Shannon.
What up,
you.
Shannon?
Yes.
What up?
Glad to see you.
Man. So,
Your dad be staying on your head, child. He staying on your head.
Listen, it wasn't my choice to be here. This was on you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you told me one time you should have went to sleep that night. Well, damn it, you didn't, and you paying. So I don't know what to tell
Oh
you.
Lord. And there it is. And there it is.
So okay, y'all, we're gonna get into the meat of the discussion, and it's a couple. We're gonna go a couple of directions with this, but we're gonna start with there was a post of a mutual friend that we saw, and the question was posed. So the question was posed one way, but we're going to pose it on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So the original question was asking, I don't remember if it was women or black women specifically. We're gonna say
It was
black women.
women. Just
It was
it
women.
was just women. Uh-huh.
Okay, it was women. So are women being raised to be wives? Right, that was the question. But we're posing the question: are women and men being raised to be husbands and wives? And Dre has a very quick and emphatic answer to this one.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you kind of start that one because it had me rolling.
Oh, okay. Oh, look, we already
Yeah,
have
yeah.
folks in
Uh-huh.
the
In
in
the
the
chat.
chat.
In the
In the
chat.
chat. I'm not mad at you. Okay, so the question specifically was about if women were being raised for marriage, and I said the same thing that Shannon said. Mercy. Okay.
Tell us how you
Tell us,
really feel,
yeah. Tell
Shan.
us how you really feel. Go ahead, and prep your fingers, type it out, and then we'll go
Mhm.
ahead and read it. I don't know if I'll be able to find my response quick enough, so I'll just give you, a synopsis of what I said. I did say no, but I was a little softer than that. But I just said first, we can't be sure that everybody is being taught anything. I mean, we know
Mhm.
that just from what we learn in school, we know that everybody's not taught the same thing. I think you've also said it about something else, though. Like, have we even determined what the consensus is, right, on
Mhm.
what being a wife or being a husband is? So without that general, everybody agrees on this one thing, we definitely can't be sure that that is being taught to anyone. And
Mhm.
then my thought about it is, even if you were taught, or it was modeled for you, and I would say it was more of a model in my household, getting married and actually walking that out, I can't be my mom's husband's wife, right? I have to
Mhm.
be my husband's wife.
Mhm.
So even the things that were modeled for me, there were certain things that I had to not do, or
Mhm.
certain things that I had to do. There were things that were introduced, or thoughts that, maybe I hadn't thought of before. Some things I had to unlearn and fine tune. This is a good point too. I haven't been able to read the whole comment yet. I just saw about grandparents, but yeah, what if you were raised by older
Mhm.
individuals, right? And so their values and things that were going on the times that they got married would be different from what you have and what we see today. So Jazz says, being raised by my grandparents, I can't tell you how many times I heard, you have to learn fill in the blank. You have to be able to do fill in the blank because one day you're going to be a wife. Okay, so she was specifically taught, like, hey,
Mhm.
this equals being a wife. There were some people in the chat that said that they were more so reared to be mothers before wives, right? Because
Mhm.
the value was placed on raising children. It really wasn't on being a
Mhm.
wife, which is also very telling
Mhm.
in relationships. Jasmine Joy says, I was finna say the same thing. How are you defining marriage outside of the legal aspect? Yeah.
Mhm.
So there's marriage, but then there are roles, right? There's the wife role, and then there's the husband role, or there's the man role and the woman role, or there's might be some non-binary things going on, right? You have to decide what works best for you in your house. And everything, just like going from one relationship into the next relationship, you can carry some of those same things. It's the same applies to what might have gone on in the house that you were raised in. It may not fly, and it
Mhm.
probably will not fly in the house that you build with someone else. So
Yeah.
that's my long and short.
Yeah, it's a more long than short. It's a long format show. Um, when thinking about it, no, no, we're not. Especially these days, it's such a every person for themselves type culture, and that spills over. Not even spills over. I think we're raising people to preserve self, right? In so many ways. And so, like, from for young boys, like, yeah, we're taught, oh, you got to do this and you got to do that for girls, and don't hit girls, and you got to take care of girls, and blah 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 blah. And they say, oh, you got to pay for everything, you got to pay for bills, yada yada. But the self-preservation part comes in where it's kind of like, oh, look out for this, and if she's doing this, then you don't do that, and you never, you know what I mean? It's always very defensive rearing when it comes to that. It's not how to be a husband, it's how to watch out for the wrong woman and don't marry the wrong woman, right? But there's not much emphasis on how to be with when you have the right woman. What do you do? You see what I'm saying? And I think we really present marriage as, when you have the right one, it's just gonna happen and it's gonna fall into place and they're just gonna do all the right things. And like, nah. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
even when you're trying your best,
yeah,
it just may not line up.
yeah. And I liken it to, and I've talked a lot about, like, coming up in the church, in my church specifically, how the young boys, well, the youth period, were always uh taught abstinence, right? And don't do this and don't. And so you're taught everything not to do. When you go to church, they tell you everything not to do. You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's not Christ like, don't. And I was like, you can stand still and not do all the things they tell you not to do and still not advance in your life, because there's who's telling you what to do. You see what I'm saying? Like, what are the to do's? It's like, hey, don't have sex till marriage. Okay, how do I do that? Right here, I'm a young teenage boy.
I'm sorry. The shade of it all. I won't say he ignored it.
I did not ignore it.
He did not ignore it. Yeah.
There
was a time when enough is enough.
Yeah. I made it. Actually, I didn't even make a decision. That's a story for another day. But no, I did not ignore it. I lasted longer than anybody I know. Well, actually, that's not. I know a couple that are still going, actually. But yeah.
All right.
Made me lose my damn train of thought. But
oh God.
But it's like, we have these templates, right? And you know how I feel about templates and who's supposed to do what. Like, I don't even, we're not even couples need to decide what works for them rather than try to force someone else's standards on your relationship, right? So that's where I'm going right now with like the templates, right? It's, you're a man, so you're supposed to, and you're a woman, and you're supposed to, right? And now we only use these narratives when it's convenient, right? When we're on the receiving end of what we're saying someone else was supposed to do. You see what I'm saying? Just like Nakima, who just posted, just now sent me a video earlier of this dude talking about men are supposed to be paying 100% of the bills. I've been sent that dude like a few times, right? And it's only been sent to me by women. No man has ever sent me that video talking about men are supposed to pay 100% of the bills, right? Now, because it's being sent to me by women because it fits their narrative, right? So on the other side, men will talk about like women submitting, and the Bible says you got to submit. Like, all the things that are convenient for us are the things that men will say. And so we keep looking for things that at the end of the day promote the minimalistic effort. We always want to be on the receiving end. You know what I mean? And I just find that odd. And you get in these relationships and very few people know what to do. And when you look at the divorce rate, so if we're even talking about like being raised to be husbands and wives, it don't matter what you're telling kids. What have we seen? You know what I'm saying? Like, How many of us have grown up? So here's two problems. One of us, how many have grown up in homes where we've seen healthy marriages, right? Even in conflict, like was the conflict resolved in a healthy manner,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then, well, first, just like who grew up in a two-parent home? Number
Yeah.
one, let's start there. And then two, was it a healthy marriage? Now, for those who did grow up in a two-parent home, and let's say they had a healthy marriage, did you see the healthy marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or did you just see the byproducts of it? Did you see how they work things out, how they work together, or you just saw them? You know what I mean? And so that begs the question of how much should you allow your kids to see? You know what I mean? They was like, oh, don't argue in front of your kids. Okay, I get that, but how do you teach conflict resolution to your
Mm-hmm.
kids? You know, how do you resolve the conflict? Maybe they heard it. I don't. My parents didn't. Okay, not always argue in front of me. It happened, but I would hear it in the room. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but what I didn't see was the resolution.
Right.
I didn't see when they made up. Well, I mean, okay, I shouldn't have seen the action, but you know, but you know
We
what I
know what
mean.
you meant.
Like
Yes, yes.
how did the conversation
How
go?
did it end?
Where
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? And so a lot of us are left to figure that out as we go and as we grow. You know,
Mm.
and so I know me. I came up with a lot of machismo, like I knew I didn't want to experience what I saw my father experience, but it was very in a very toxic way. You know what I mean? And so it's like I had to find my own way through. And then I was like, oh, that's not it either. You know. So it's real difficult to navigate.
You're getting some
Right.
education.
Right. It comes from the concept protector, like the bands around the rail, the band host the music protector. Okay, great. You know he's going that like the preacher from husband comes from the Greek.
That's right. That's right. Go on and
The
teach,
Hebrew word,
teach,
you
teach.
know. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's very difficult to navigate, and that's why we get into the conversations of who's supposed to do what.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, we hear, and especially if we're gonna, be biblical, right? We hear submit. And we
mhm,
generally only hear one side of that, right? It's just
mhm.
like, wives, submit to your husbands. And that's, if you're taught, that's probably a, a part of your teaching if you grew up in church or have any type of spiritual background. And, you know, just recently, within the past few years, I would probably say about 5 years or so, like really exploring like the entirety of that chapter and not just
The
that
scripture,
part,
the verse. Uh-huh.
right, context and understanding. The submission is to be to one another, but also the breakdown that really got me was about husbands loving their wives. And one thing, I think I saw it, I don't think it was your post, but it was one of the posts that we have been interacting with. And someone said, I'd rather be uh,
Your car.
a man's car
Mhm.
than his wife or girlfriend or whatever the case may. And
I
I
had a
was like,
response for that, and I didn't.
dang, and so I don't know this person, but it just struck me as very sad.
Mhm.
If I take away like whatever, just hearing that at face value was like, wow, you rather be a possession that you feel he would care for or love versus a person
Mhm.
that he would care for
And you and to see to the response for that, because she was averse to what like the men were saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we might as well bring into this topic. There is a post, a video of actress Essence Atkins where she's talking about her requirements when it comes to dating, and that men don't pursue her because she requires too much, right? And
Do you want
so
to show it or do
yeah,
you
let's go
want
ahead and show that.
to? Okay. Second.
In here. So you can tell me I'm great all you want, but you're not pursuing me, and I know why. Because I require too much, and that's all right. I'm okay with that.
What do you mean by that, though? What do you mean what do you require?
I require discipline and intention, and I require a level of like investment in terms of time. And you know what? It's like you can say, "Oh, I took her to this restaurant, I took her to that restaurant," and I'd be like, "Well, what's my favorite color?"
I hate that question.
No, I get what you're saying. It's not really, or actually,
and
it is.
I'm interrupting just for a moment too, because going back to your earlier point, I can do it myself. I can pay for whatever restaurant I want to go to myself.
Yeah. I
have a nice car. I have a nice house. I have friends. I have a successful career. So I am emancipated to a certain extent because those things don't entice me. So it kind of is a, what do you bring to the table that's not material, that is something that's compelling.
All right. So I said, hold on. She's still talking. So I understood. And I was like, hey, I get it. And you were like, I don't. I think sometimes you just want to be anti. Whatever I say, you're like, I'm going to say the opposite. But I was just like, that's not clear to you?
No, it's okay. So a lot of people are coming from a different angle. Let me start by saying this. On its face, as a standalone, okay, whatever, right? But the point that I was making wasn't about simply what she said, but the sentiment that gets shared, and it's always requirements and never offerings, right? We're met with a long list of requirements. This is what I require. This is what I require. Okay, cool. This is what you require. Now, what do you offer? Right? What are we getting? You want someone to pursue you. What are we pursuing? You see what I'm saying? And we see a lot of these discussions where women are so offended if a man says, "What do you bring to the table?" And then it'll be, "Oh, I am the table." What does that even mean? You know what I mean? It's like we can never act like it's unreasonable. I don't, like Shannon said in the comments, I don't think it's unreasonable what she said, right? Completely. As the reason why
her ask is reasonable in my opinion. However, I think she's completely off as to the reason why men don't pursue her. Her list and her reasons is not why men do not check for her.
Right.
Okay. And well, so, what do you think those reasons are? I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Put it in the chat.
But I'm gonna address that too. It's not even a matter. It's a matter of stop thinking for men, right? And you see, if you even go through the post or whatever, it's like, oh well, men think this, and if men realize it, it's like, we're not dense or dumb, you know. And then when we do share our mind, it's, oh, that's sassy or that's this. It's invalidated. You see what I'm saying? And so it's everybody wants to put themselves in the position of power. You know, I'm this, I'm that, and the reason why I don't have what I want can't possibly be me. It's them. So when you say things, oh, I require too much, I'm the like, it's back to the favor factor phenomenon. You know what I'm saying? I'm the one, but you can't put yourself in the seat of being chosen and dictate how you're chosen or what you're chosen for. See, you want to be chosen for what you want to be chosen for versus what he actually wants or values. So if you're not being chosen, that means you don't have what he values. He doesn't see it. And he doesn't see it because 9 times out of 10, you haven't shown it, because you want him to prove and to pursue and all this other stuff before you do anything. What do you offer? What do you bring to the table? And it's not necessarily money or materials. You got your own house, car, cool. We actually don't even care about that. Cheaper for me? Okay, cool. That's not what we value. You see what I'm saying? And the things that we do value. So if I say, if you got, you know, and not all women think like this, but let's say the ones, oh, men should be paying 100% of the bills. And if you're going half on bills, then you got a roommate, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so, but if we say you need to do 100% of the cooking and 100% of the cleaning, I ain't no slave. This ain't the 50s. Right? It's always, you know what I mean? And so it's kind of like, do, like it was stated earlier, do what's necessary for the relationship, however that looks for that couple. But we come up with these uh they're really defense mechanisms. Talking about what men should do and what women should do are defense mechanisms and ways to avoid putting forth effort, right? And because what I don't see as illogical is how come two adults that are interested in each other don't come to the table with what they bring to the table and present it to one another and do for one another what liking an adult does, right? Versus somebody got to go first and you got to prove yourself before I prove my, like it's, we're vying for
Well,
position.
I get it. And I think we've talked about this a couple of
Mhm.
times. One, as a subject, and then maybe a couple more times just as we've talked through various topics. And, it boils down again to like, how were you prepared? Right? How were you raised? And, admittedly, I wasn't raised to come present, whatever at the table. Like, I don't think that was well, it wasn't a thing when we first started dating. Nobody was talking about what you brought to the table. I don't know when that. I think that was, I was like, I think that was social media.
Yeah.
You just were who you were. You might have needed to ask some questions if you couldn't determine whatever it is that you were looking for from somebody. But like, I'm just trying to think through like dating experiences where I was like, checklist and, does he have all of this and what is he going to do? Like most of the time, and I've said this too, like I, have dated people in my circle. Like I already know you. Mm-hmm. I know you as an individual. I know you as a friend. So there was a lot of things that I didn't like, this is not my experience and I don't identify with. But a lot of women are raised to, hey, dad took care of me if you were blessed enough to have that kind of experience. And so when dad gives you away, he's giving you away to somebody that should be doing the same thing. And there's not a discussion about, what you bring to the table for this person to assume the role and take care of you. And that was marriage, period. Right? Like that's not just us. That's like women were property anyway. Like here, you just go from this family to this family. And nobody was talking about this. So that's not to say that it's right. I'm just, if we're talking about like where it came from or why people aren't, sitting down like business partners, what you're saying, sounds logical, right? Like if we're starting a business together and marriage is a business, we should be able to sit down at the table. What are your strengths? What are my strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are my weaknesses? What's our game plan? What are our goals for marriage? What are our goals for family? Like that makes a lot of sense. But if we're talking about the preparation, right? Or were you raised to be a wife? Were you raised to be a partner? These conversations are not happening in families by and large. So I see a lot of
if they are being raised like that, people are raising their babies to as if they're the one on both sides. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? We're not on one side looking for what benefits us. If my husband's that's what he needs about you. He needs to provide from you. That one. I'm speaking generally speaking. So yes, we have outliers, right? And me and my husband hardly see each other as extensions of ourselves. His success of life is my success, and vice versa. Not as a person or dope, right?
I like it.
But the thing of it is that's not the general dating experience. You see what I'm saying? So women, including her, are not being. Yeah, she's being what she wants to be.
What men want.
Right. And that's a thing right there. People want you to want what they want you to want. And that thing they want you to want is usually them, right? We often look at ourselves as objectively desirable and we're not. Right. It's important that the individual strengths and areas where we need to support, but folks need to feel vulnerable. And from what I hear, people are not giving each other the space to be precisely right. We don't have a whole lot. It's so this is, and I'll speak for the man side, especially nowadays, right? I'm a red flag because I have a podcast, right? You see a whole lot of that. Oh, dev to podcast, men, and it's only men with podcasts that is this red flag,
I've
right?
seen that.
And the crazy part is women have had the platform for decades, right? Not necessarily podcasts, the talk shows, the magazines, daytime TV is not for men, it's for women. And it's a whole bunch of women telling women what to do and not to do, and we see how that's working. So now here's a space where men are finally speaking up. Men are saying what they desire and what they want. And in return, they're being called toxic and sassy. When a man states what he wants, right? Or if he wants anything similar, right? Like now that, oh, these men want to be wined and dined nowadays. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with wanting a woman to do something for you? Right? What's wrong? You desire that. Why? And you desire that because it feels good for someone to do something for you. Why is that a problem if a man wants that? Why is it a problem if a man wants words of affirmation or physical touch or gifts or, right? There's only 5 love languages. Which one do we get to choose? You see what I'm saying? It's sit down and give. But the minute that he wants something, and it's not even the fact that he wants something that you are not prepared to give or able to give or just don't want to.
Yeah. And I think that's ultimately what it boils down to. This is a great comment. Roles are inevitable and necessary in a relationship. How is it you can eagerly fulfill your role at a job where nobody cares a hoot about you, but you can't do this with someone that desires you? And I am on record saying that, like, if you can go to work and kowtow and do all the stuff that you need to do at work, and you can't come home and have conversations with your spouse and make adjustments and work with your spouse, but you can do all that is a no on both sides.
Yeah, both sides. And I say generally speaking, I agree. But here's the problem, and I'm gonna tie in that car comment into this. I think I'm slowly converted Barzini
to the dark side. What's the dark side?
The red pill.
Men with mics.
So yeah. People don't like men with mics because they don't like what we're saying. Because
I'm going to say, but your voices should be amplified. Like, okay, so ladies, we can't have it both ways. We can't say, you don't talk to me, you don't express. I don't know what you're thinking, and then get mad when they talk and express and tell us what they're thinking. Just because you may not like when they talk and express and share what they're thinking. So you can't have it both ways. And likely the reason why they do not talk and express and share what they're thinking is because those are with the responses.
Right. And so to the car comment, right? And to the job comment, you can go to the job, but you can't come home. And I would rather be a car than some of these men's women. It's because we know what we're getting, right? I can go to my job and be faced with the bullshit or a lot of work or have to have tough conversations. But guess what? Twice a month, I know exactly what I'm getting for my efforts or for the bullshit. I can calculate it exactly. A car, you would rather be a car, but guess what? I know the value of that car. I know how much that car is worth. I know the make and model. I know exactly, right?
I know,
right. So I know exactly what I'm getting with that car. The problem is in relationships, I don't know what I'm getting, right? Because it's do all these things for me, and like, oh well, I know what I bring to the table. And I hate that response, because what good is you knowing what you bring to the table if you don't actually bring it? Does the person you're with know what you bring to the table on both sides? You see what I'm saying? A lot of people can't articulate what they bring to the table. They can't. Or they don't have as much to bring as they like to present. So we say things like, oh, I know what I bring. Oh, I am the table. Knock it off. Like, why, and so with this video with Essence, she's talking about what she requires. She's talking about the cost. She's not talking about the features and benefits. What am I getting? You see what I'm saying? I don't know anybody who has ever purchased something where the sales pitch was strictly how expensive it is, right? Like, no, they sell you on the features and benefits so that the price makes sense. Like, hey, this car is $100,000 because you see what I'm saying? It's a Bentley. It's got da 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 da. It's blah 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 or whatever, right? Or honestly, a Bentley, you know what a Bentley is. You know the value of a Bentley, so you don't even really ask the price, because when you talk Rolls Royce and Maybach, the saying is, if you have to ask how much it is, you can't afford it, right? So, but it's already being presented. It's a brand. It's already proven. So if you're somebody that's proven, you ain't got to sit here and state your requirements. Actually, if you're as dope as you presenting, you don't need to state your requirements, because he's gonna do whatever, because you've already shown. He sees it. It's being shown. You see what I'm saying? But those who talk about how valuable and okay, then why have you not? You're not telling me there's not a man in the world who's not met those that can't meet those requirements. There are, and you've met some of them, but they didn't choose you, and it wasn't because you required too much. It's because they didn't choose you for whatever reason, and those reasons equated to they didn't want you.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it's hard to rationalize that, right? And I'll just speak like for the women who you went to school, you know, you have a good job, you started a business, you know, been successful, you presented yourself as what you would consider an asset versus a liability, and you still are in a position where your value is not seen. Now, listening to my male friends over the years, and finding out that, you know, we were hoodwinked, right? Like those things may be attractive to somebody, but that those were not the main attractions. That's not something that we were told. Right? We were told, and for the most part, as I think about it, you know, baby boomers that had us, right? And I think when my mom was on here, she was talking about a little bit about that, right? Like how they raised us to make sure that we were independent, so that if anything happens, you could take care of yourself, all these things. And what happened in the state of the Black family, blah, 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 blah. Not blah in a bad way, but all of those things. And, you know, in the pursuit of degrees, and in the pursuit of gainful employment, and in the pursuit of all these other things, it was not taught to us to, and nobody wants to hear this, be quiet or choose your battles. Right? Because even being quiet is not like, you know, your opinion doesn't matter, but it might be like, can you just hold that for another time? How about,
instead of saying be quiet, listen.
Yeah, hold that. Yeah. And then, right. Or the way, right? Like the way that I express now is different.
I'm so proud of you.
From the way I used to express.
I'm so proud
because I always felt like you're not going to trample over my voice. You're not going to, you know, I saw that. You're not going to trample over my liberty to speak and to be heard.
But you learn how to finesse.
But you got to. You got to.
Right. So, but the difference,
things, and now we're hearing them from you, which should be a trusted source. Like if you are the people that we want to connect with, we should. But there's resistance there.
Yeah.
Now that part I don't know why.
Because it requires change. It requires growth. It requires effort. It requires looking at yourself. I actually wrote a book about it. You see what I'm saying? Like the thing about you is you, like you just said, you listened to the demographic by which you seek to be chosen by. Like you listened and you implemented it and it worked for you. Like the craziest thing in the world is, hey, maybe if I listen to men, I can learn how to win with men, because maybe men know how men think, and maybe men know what men want. And if I do this, I can get what I want from men. It's the same thing women want from men. You want men to listen to you and give you what you want. So why is it so odd or illogical to do the same thing? You see what I'm saying? It's like you can't want men to, hey, listen and be sensitive and blah, 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 and do all this other stuff for us. But then when we state what we need, we sassy. Who raised you?
Yeah, that's rude too. We gotta come up off of that.
And all that don't bother me because I'm gonna state what I need, and either you with it or you not. You see what I'm saying? Like that ain't never bothered me, you know. But it shows me who you are, right, and what you're prepared to be or not prepared to be. So the thing is, don't tell me that what you bring to the table is behind door number one, right? Like, nah, baby, bring it. You see what I'm saying? Because I rock with people that bring what they have to offer to the table, period. And if you're not grown enough to do that, then you're not grown enough for me, right? And I don't speak from a seat to where I'm always chosen. And you know what? This is what I love for me, that people think that I'm single just because I'm too picky, right? Like, or I haven't chosen. No, there have been women that I've tried to choose, but they didn't choose me back. And it wasn't because, oh, I require too much or I'm too good or they didn't get me. They didn't see in me what they needed. It's plain and simple. And you got to be able to accept that part of the game, that you are not objectively desirable. Everybody ain't gonna want you, right? And we keep trying to lean on these convenient traditionalism to avoid change. But what's the percentage of divorce now? What, over 60%? And even more for relationships. Relationships are failing. Marriages are failing because we've clinged on to antiquated ways of thinking and operating, right? I just had this conversation. I was not raised to respect men or speak kindly to them. Asserting authority was who was modeled. I had to recognize that as an adult, I was an effortlessly masculine. That's huge, you know. And the reality of that is that's not enough to just recognize it, right? Now we got to do the work to move away from what comes natural, right? Like for me, I clap back. That's natural for me,
child.
Right? that's natural for me.
But I was like, that part of me is right in the back seat. She is not out the car. She
listen. That clap back gene is so quick. But here's the thing. So on that same post with old girl talking about, I'd rather be a man. Did you see me going back? I stated one thing, right? I was like, so what are we pursuing? And they went and they was blah, 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 blah. And I just said, okay. Right. Yeah. Like I've learned, one, I stopped going back and forth with people I wouldn't even date. Like, why? You know, and I'm not saying that to be offensive, you know. It's like that's you know, we're friends or we cool, but you know, I'm not seeking this from you. So what's the need of getting triggered and riled up and everything else, you know? And everybody's got their journey, but the question is, what are you willing to do to get that thing that you want? You can't come with just a laundry list of requirements for somebody else to do and want somebody else to change and adjust to you, and you do no changing and adjusting. You can't just want to be accepted as is, but want somebody but you want to mold somebody else. Like that's not real life, you know.
So what are some of the things, you know, of course, each man would have a different list, just like, you know, women, but I think you all have some values, you know, that you could agree upon as men or as Black men. Like, what are some of the things that you would want a woman to bring to the table that would put you in a place to say, you know, I would like that in a wife. This is, you know, the type of behavior, the type of character that I would want in my wife.
Cooperative. Like, let's start there. Cooperative, right? And that doesn't mean you agree with everything that I say. That means even when you disagree with me, it's done in a cooperative way, right? We agree to disagree agreeably, right? Be agreeable. And agreeable does not mean you agree. It means this is the same thing. Don't be argumentative. Everything ain't got to be a fight. Everything isn't an indictment on you. You don't have to assert yourself to be, you know what I'm saying? So
I love it. Come on.
right.
Affirm yourself. Affirm
Yeah.
it. Affirm it.
One second, be respectful, right? Like if I'm the man that you've chosen, respect the man that I am. I don't need somebody. You don't have to try to bring me down a notch or step on my neck. Number one, you can't do it. You know what I'm saying? I've been with somebody that kept trying to notch me down, whatever. Um, support, make me better, right? You we want it both ways nowadays. Like women want this made man. Like you gotta already have arrived. When don't date potential, but then you want to take credit for his success. You can't have it both ways. Which is it? You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
If we believe this narrative, like anything you give a woman, she multiplies it. Okay, come multiply it in. You know what I'm saying? Like every man isn't always going to be there, right? And we're never there, even when we're at a specific place. There's always ascension. Be a part of that. Be a part of the team. Come in to what I'm doing, right? Let me say this. See where he's going. Every man leads. Every man leads. It's up to you to decide if that's where you want to go, right?
Mhm.
Just because he leading don't mean he leading somewhere where you want to go. That's on you to determine before you attach yourself to him, right? But once you do, you submitting to that, right? It's better for a man to live alone than in the corner of a rooftop and dwell yeah, right.
Yeah, that's
So that
biblical.
goes to agreeability and cooperation is biblical, right? Um,
Okay. He said, I'm not in agreement with that one. The make me better.
yeah, but
And you know what? I think I heard you, and I think I had that was my initial reaction of like, what? And then I was like, okay, I think I get it. Um,
with the agreeable
when
part,
people ask me about marriage, one of the things that I say
I don't know why I'm out
emphatically,
of focus.
that's okay. One of the things that I say outside of, it's one of the greatest blessings of my life. And one of the reasons why I say that is because it has been the vehicle by which I have been made better,
Mhm.
and not necessarily if we're talking about career, or helping somebody get out of their mama's basement. I think I saw that. Like, I'm not talking about that. But even in career success, you can have character flaws. You can be a horrible person, or you can be cool but have some areas that you absolutely need to work on, whether it's physical, it can be financial, it can be spiritual, whatnot. And I have, definitely seen marriage be, a consistent looking in the mirror at yourself, like somebody just holding it up to you.
Mhm.
And you, if you're willing, right,
Mhm.
to see yourself through somebody else's eyes, can make great strides for
Mhm.
yourself, to not only be a better person for you, but also to be a better partner for them, or a better parent for your children. So I get it in that regard. For people that have that understanding, like, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm making strides to do that, especially if we're talking about financially or professionally. And you come into partnership with somebody who's down for that, right? Like, I got your back. There's some people, it doesn't matter how good you dress it up or you make it sound. They're just not that type of person. They're not going to have your back. They just come to take. And then, of course, don't be in partnership with that kind of person. But it
Mhm.
just seems like, we do a lot of trying to change people into who we want them to be versus connecting with your folks. It's just like friendship. Like, there are some people you are not in my circle.
Mhm.
I see you. I don't rock with what you're rocking with. I don't want to be involved with that. Even, the stuff that we have to talk about, even for the podcast, you could tell I'll just be like, I don't identify.
Uh-huh.
I do not identify with this. I don't like it.
Mhm.
I wouldn't want to be friends with any of these people, and so that's a thing too. Like, don't, because somebody looks good or somebody has a lot, they have means or whatever, to feel like, okay, now I need to get in and then try to make them into who I want them to be. Like, child, please.
Yeah.
Nobody have
No,
time for that.
yeah. And you can't mold, like, the thing is, just be dope. If you a dope person, right, you can grow together, and then you start becoming this entity where this is your thing. Like, hey, this is what we do, this is how we
Mm-hmm.
communicate. You know what I mean? um but it can't be, you can't merge with someone thinking that you can just stay the same, because it's
Mm-hmm.
got to be about both of you. And if you're both not mutually benefiting, from being with someone, then why are you with them? you know but more so, it's kind of like we have such a focus on what we want versus honing what we bring, right? Like, if we spent more time adding to the toolbox, or the table, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Finding someone is not going to be as difficult. Actually, no, it'll be more difficult, because you're looking for that partner, right? But you can't cast your pearls among swine all the time. But we keep looking. I honestly think it's a lot of self-sabotage. you know I think the people who are, their esteem is lower, or their the view of themselves, I think we overplay our hand, and we overestimate our value a lot of times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's why I think that saying know your worth is a lie, right? Because you don't determine your worth. You don't. Like, how do you get to say what you're worth to somebody else? You know what I mean? Like, you're only worth what someone values. And if people don't value what you bring, then you're worthless to them. That it just is. You're not worthless.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody values what you have, but to walk around thinking that anybody should just be lucky to be with you or be in your presence. No, that's not real life, you know. And so I think we lack patience. I think so many of us want to just be with somebody for the sake of being with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we need to do a lot of self check, you know,
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
ourselves. So
And understand, you can be dope and not be as dope as you think you are, right? Like, that's a thing too. It's not even like, oh, I'm amazing or I'm horrible, right? Like, you can actually have some dope qualities and still have some things to work on.
mhm,
And that's absolutely okay. And yes, the marketplace determines the value, not yourself. When you are presenting yourself to someone, you're, getting to know them, and that is being made known to you, then what do you do with that information? You can get offended, and you can be
mhm.
like, well, you ain't got it going on, and you could do that, or you could
Right.
take that
Or
information and you
yeah,
can do something with
these
it,
men
because it might
today.
not be with that person,
Mhm,
but that might, prepare you for the
yeah,
next relationship or situation that you're in.
yeah. And y'all knock that shit off. That, oh, these men today, these women today, like, the marketplace. I just don't like, people want things. It's okay. Can you afford it? Right. I think it's just funny. I don't know if you've seen it. It was like black people when they be when they can't afford something but looking at expensive items, and it's that dude talking about, so how much they want for this one in white, the Bentley, 105. Okay, oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. I think I might be able to do that for the white one, and then knowing we can't, knowing you can't afford it. And so you in a marketplace trying to demand a price for something that's not of value. You don't get to determine it. So if men, like ladies, if men are telling you this is not what we want this, why are you arguing that? Especially if several men are saying it, because you're saying, oh, if you have to say these men today, this means several men have said it, the same thing. These men with mics, we've picked up mics saying, hey, this is what we want. This is what we like.
Yeah.
We know what you want. You never stop really talking about it. You've been saying it for decades. We get it. The problem is this. It's okay to first of all, I like that song. Shout out to Toby.
I said you can be dope, but not as dope as you think you are. You can't be dope.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing. Y'all are going places telling merchants what they should charge and how much they should pay you. Right? Like you can't, you're the one selling something. You're trying to sell yourself. Pardon the expression. I'm not talking about prostitution, but you're saying, hey, this is for sale with your effort or your time or whatever, right? And this is the cost. But we're like, hey, that's a 78 though. and not a classic. Like, what are the features and benefits? Oh, you'll find out when you buy it. No, that's not how this works, right? So when you present the features and benefits and you show, right, you show how it drives, then we get to say, oh, okay, it's worth the price you're saying. Or you get to say, well, I'll pay this much, but I ain't paying that. You know, if you fix it up some, then I'll pay more. Right? But you don't want to fix it up. You want to sell it as is at market value, and that's not how the market works. You know, on both sides. I'm not just talking to women. I kind of was, but I'm being fair. on both sides, you got to be able to pay for it. But you also have to present and add value. You don't determine your worth. All you can do is create value, and then someone else determines what they will pay. And if you focus on building value, right, making the product better every day, it can already be great, but you're focusing on making it better. Here's the cheat code. Somebody may come and offer you even more than you were charging, because they see more value in you than you even see in yourself. But you so focused on pennies that you're missing out on dollars because you won't build value. I'm just saying.
I love it. Well, I want to give the women an opportunity as well to share some things that you are looking for. We're talking about, bringing things to the table. So we've heard, being cooperative. We've heard respect. I think I saw in the chat, like being agreeable. What are some things that you are looking for, we are looking for in a husband, right? Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about marriage. Speaking entrepreneur language, absolutely. That definitely, right? Like, you're not gonna tell us. I love it. And so, I will kick us off until I see some things in the chat. But, leadership is very important. And as somebody who has been, a leader in various spaces, it was very important to me that I partner with and marry someone that I trusted to lead me, that I trusted to be able to say, I don't know everything, because I can't tell everybody that, but that I could tell you, I don't know this, right? And trust that I will be okay under your leadership, the leadership of not just me, but our home and our family. That's something that's very important. And that's something that I believe I saw as he was walking out his own life. And so that's a point, for what you have been saying, like, hey, you may have these things as women, but if they're not on display, or if it's not clear to a man, right, that this equals that, then it's like it's not there. And we've already determined that the way you all see and communicate and understand is not the way that we see, communicate, because we're like, it's right here. You mean underneath all of this, you didn't see what I meant? And he's like, I didn't have any.
You're right.
So it has to be.
You're reading the fine. Yeah, you want me to see the terms and conditions in that little print, but you showing me the big letters
for the image. Where's the
picture?
I love it.
Yeah, you like
so that's something that is very important. That display of love and tenderness, and I know that's not necessarily what you all lead with, but that's important as well, right? Like knowing that I am cared for, knowing that I am loved and considered, is very important as well. Being with a man or having a husband, of course, the provision part is there. And I think where we have found a lot of contention, especially on social media, is that a lot of men feel like that's all that they're wanted for, or that's how they've been made to feel. Right. And so
that's what manhood is predicated on it.
Right. And so it's important to be clear that is important, but that, for women, that we express that is not the totality of your value. Like, it's appreciated, especially because the men that I know, they are very serious about being protectors and providers. So you don't want to be on some, I don't need your money, or I don't need your this. And that might be something that we talk through another time too. Like, what's the balance, because you feel like, okay, I don't want to be labeled as a gold digger, or all I care about is your money. But if I toss out what I have, then you feel like I don't need you. And now we're in a space that I don't, want us to be. Well,
that's just a level of maturity that needs to happen, because some of that is, control, integrity, accountability, leadership, compassion,
honest and effective communication, emotional intelligence, availability, generosity, and protection. And let me just say, this is not for all men. You might find somebody that was at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You might be 10 out of 10 somewhere. God bless. I pray it for you. But you might not. You might, and that's fine, Shannon. Something you don't agree with. That's why we're all different people. And I got a husband. But let me know what it is that you don't agree with. You might get the 10 out of 10, but you might get 8, right? There might be some things, and to Barzini's point before, like, that people they're working through, or they may not even know it's an issue, right? Like the whole emotional intelligence and availability thing, for a lot of men is like, what's the problem? And they may not even know that they're not emotionally available until they're in relationship with somebody that's like, oh.
Yeah. And my question would be this, to all those things, right? How often do you think men see women lead with those things? Right? Because he can have all those things, but he broke. I'm not gonna date a broke man. He can have all those things that she just named, but he broke, right? And broke is relative. What is broke, right? If he doesn't make this, or he doesn't make what I make or more, right? There's always this extra barrier. And then there's this meme going around that's crazy that people keep sending to me and whatever, talking about how can you love a job that pays your bills When how do you love a man that can't pay your bills, but you love a job, but you hate a job that does? Right, or the reverse. How can no? How can you hate a job that pays your bills, but you love a man that can't? Like our manhood is constantly connected to our earning potential. And I disagreed with it at first. I was like, but more and more as time goes, that Chris Rock quote when he said, "Only women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally, and a man is only loved on the condition that he provides something." You know, but I'm on record saying that I don't believe human beings are capable of unconditional love.
I was gonna say I don't think that's true for anybody, but
Yeah,
go off.
yeah, no, I don't. You know, only God loves unconditionally. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a fine line. But you know, please
Amen.
don't get this man started.
Amen.
But
Amen.
yeah, I just think people need to get their head out of their ass, really, because we are our biggest barrier to that
Yeah, but you
feminine.
didn't send them to me, so you can't take no credit. You can't take no credit.
No, but I like why TDJ said, why are we so married to inefficiency or loyal? Why are we so loyal to inefficiency? You see what I'm saying? The way we're doing it is not working. It's not. It's not, right? If you single, then everything that you have tried in a relationship has failed, literally. Right? If you are single, and this includes me, everything you have tried in a relationship, it has failed. Whether it
Well,
was
maybe not everything.
not everything, whether it was
Everything
your
you've
fault or
tried has
not,
failed.
yeah, it's failed because the relationship failed.
Well, the
Right?
relationship failed, but
That's what I
that doesn't
mean.
mean everything you did was a failure. It might be
I'm talking about
something.
the culmination of all your efforts. I'm not talking about singularity, like, hey, I did this thing and it
Okay.
worked. No,
Okay.
just all inclusive. It didn't work, right? So at what point do we say, hey, maybe I might need to change something if I want this thing? Because what do we say? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. But we keep doing the same thing. We keep expecting the same thing. And we're telling you, we're giving you, it's an open book test that you're being given the answers to, but you're arguing the people that wrote the fucking book. Right? Like I tell people, you can argue with me or debate with me about anything you want except me. You don't get to argue with me about me. I right? I am the expert on me. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but you don't get to tell me things like why I do what I do, especially when I'm telling you differently. You don't get to tell me I like this or I like that. Oh, well, you do this because no, I do that because this. And you know how I know? Because I'm me. Right? That's the part that pisses me off. So you get in these discussions, and it really irritates me about a lot of women that seem to think they're more well versed on men than men. When men are telling you, right? And so I've never seen a woman in a happy relationship behave that way. I just haven't.
Okay, so let's get Shannon back in here. I don't even disagree with what he said, so I don't know what I said that he was, but it's fine to disagree. Women should not be concerned with being labeled or saw as a gold digger to men. In fact, women should demand proper provision. I'm not in disagreement. I'm just saying what is going on in these streets. But because women are so overly concerned with her, maybe her age, I'm not sure. She projects her ability to produce, provide, or speak on her earning abilities to level the playing field. But that could be true. Or
Yeah,
I'm not going to say could be. It's true in wherever you've experienced it. I believe women shouldn't do that. I'm not sure. It might have been something you were talking about at a point in time. So, but yeah, I don't disagree at all. I'm just saying especially in some of the conversations that we have had in the past, right? About the mixed messages, like do this, but don't do too much of that. Don't do this, but don't, and it's just like, look, now what do you want me to do? You want me to,
touch me without touching me
and and put a bunch of stuff on it, like this is what I bring to the table, or is it enough for me to be a supporting role, right? Because the things that you mentioned, and of course this is not for all men, but you're representing them today, these are not things that can be bought. These are not things that can be bought. So if she showed up with in the words of Maxine Shaw, her raggedy duffel bag, and all these things that you mentioned, would she be valued?
I wonder this, and I'll probably post this for the next show. If we removed currency, right, or a means of transaction, let's just say we went to strictly a barter society, right? If we removed, because you know what, let's face it, money or provision is often tied to luxury, right? The level by which you live. Because if you take a man that can handle the basic necessities 100% by himself, right? He can pay, y'all have shelter, y'all have food, right? Just the basics. Let's just say you don't even have cable, you got regular TV, you got internet, you have everything that you need to just live, right? Would that be enough? And I venture to say no, right? Because you want to travel, then you want the bags and the gifts and the extraness. So is it really about the money, or is it about comfort and luxury, right? Because there's a lot of women who have specific tax brackets that they want to date, and even they're not in that bracket themselves, which is amazing to me. You know what I mean? And then you get the ones that are, you get these high six-figure women that want the same dude, but the pool ain't that deep on that end. You see what I'm saying? And so those things, like Shannon, it should be enough, but it isn't. And I think that's the problem, because we're not talking about like basic provision. You see what I'm saying? And then also, this type of thinking does not lend itself for men to struggle. Based on the criteria of today, men cannot struggle. And we can't struggle because what are we going to do if she's struggling? Right? And that's the thing. What are the memes that we see? Oh, if a man will sit and watch you struggle, or if you're struggling and he can't help, why do we always have to come fix what you messed up? But if we're in the same position as you, we're told don't date. You shouldn't be dating. You need to be focusing on money. And the crazy part is, love is a necessity of life, right? Why do I have to be financially eligible to be loved? To receive love? I have to be financially eligible to receive love. But if I'm loved, my motivation and propensity to earn increases. You see, if women multiply, right? Oh, behind every great man is a good woman. Isn't that the same?
Yeah.
So then if I
find somebody great,
no, but if behind every great man is a good woman, we've convoluted what that means, because nowadays I got to be great to get a good woman.
Right. So is she there by default, or has she helped to create the great man?
Did she push me to greatness?
Yeah.
Or did she just join in what was already great? You see what I'm saying? And most want to just benefit from the greatness. He got to be this, he got to be that. You want someone who's already made it, and you want to plug in and benefit from that for your life to be easier. But my question is this, ladies: what is the benefit of you? If you're saying you want to be pursued, and then what does a man benefit? How is his life better with you in it? That's what you got to ask. if it's clear what he has to do, if he has to come and he's got to pay your bills and he's got to pursue you and take you out and pay for dates and open doors and pull out chairs and risk his life to protect you when there's danger, now what is the benefit of you? Right? Yes, Shannon.
Is that so?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Oh God. And just to add, I mean, for women that are, chasing lifestyle, life is not gonna just be peaches and cream because you are with somebody with money. Life is still life, and so you better be trying to attach yourself to somebody with some character, because money comes and goes, health will come and go, a lot of things come and go, and you want to be connected to somebody that's going to stand with you.
Yeah. So,
and that you will stand with. I mean, I hope that goes without saying, but you got to make sure it's equal on both sides nowadays.
Just be dope. And
are you suggesting that women should find a Build-A-Bear?
If they're gonna take credit for it like they often do, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Merciful.
Like, look, there are men that have, like, okay, I've made it to a certain level of life being single, right? And there are women that are going to benefit from where I am in life right now. Cool, whatever. Like, I'm not gonna go backwards just so she can help me get back here. No, I get that. But what I'm saying is she going to contribute to my elevation from here? Right? Like, don't just come and like, oh, well, you gotta, no, you don't just get to come and sit and bask in the ambiance. You know what I'm saying? Let's work. What do you bring in? You know what I'm saying? How does this partnership, how does this company, you see what I'm saying? Barzini Enterprises, how does this improve now that you're a part of the organization? You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. So y'all, thank y'all for all of the comments and commentary. Shannon had a lit tonight. Appreciate you, big bro.
Yes.
Pops, Nakima, Jazz, all
Jazz,
of y'all.
Jasmine Joy. We got a Jasmine and a Jasmine Joy.
Right. So we got one last comment here. Speaking of
speaking of Jasmine Joy, have y'all seen the trend on socials about dudes wanting trad wives, but then not understanding that the woman would not work out of the home and getting mad about it? What's that?
I'm not sure. I don't know if it's trad or trade or whatnot. We got
trade wives, but then not understanding that the woman would not work out of the home and getting mad about it. Are we talking about like, are they like stay at home?
Is this like passport bros or something?
Yeah, no. Well, to answer your question, no. Trad is in traditional.
Gotcha.
You got to help.
You got to listen. Yeah.
We are older than you.
We used to be cool.
That's like Riz apparently is charisma. I was like, that was Ralph Trisman. I didn't know who we were.
Look, we look at we got to get up on our acronyms. Urban Dictionary, here we come.
Okay. So dudes wanting traditional wives, but then not understanding that the woman would not work out of the home and getting mad about it. Oh, it's even more. Trad con, traditional conservative. Okay, well, bring us up to speed because as you saw, we were lost. Had you heard about that, Barzini?
No, but well, I mean, we have convenient traditionalism, honestly, right? Because when people say they want traditional, men and women say it both. You want the benefits of traditionalism, but you don't want the drawbacks, right? So on the men's side, we often say we see women that you want to act progressive but be treated traditional. You know what I'm saying? It's like you want to be in the workforce and you want to earn and you want equal pay and you want this and you want say so and equal say so, but you want him to pay for everything. Like, we gonna spend your money, but I'm gonna earn and I want to earn as much as him, but I get to keep mine. And then, but when we get divorced, I'm taking half of his because he was paying for everything and he provided me a lifestyle, and I still make this dough over here. You know what I'm saying? So no. And y'all, like, we romanticize our grandparents again, and I always say we always skip over our parents' generation for some reason, right? If traditional life was so great, then our grandmothers wouldn't have taught our mothers to do differently, right? If we the thing is, we value traditional marriage far more than they did. They were doing what they had to do. That's how the world was. It wasn't saying we're doing this because this is how it's supposed to be done. They had to, right? Because what happened in World War II, right? Women went to work and they never went back home because they was like, we like this. We like earn our own money. We like, but like, no, right? Because there was still a level of control and say so. So now when we make money, our voice is louder, but you still want the benefits of being traditional, right? Doesn't work that way. Now for the men, it's like, hey, you want this woman that's doing all the cooking and cleaning and everything else, but you also want her to go to work, right? Like it's got to be some give and take on both sides. And in today's world, a single income house, like I was watching Willie Mo Jr.'s podcast, and he had was it Travis Malloy on there, but he was talking about like, and he makes money. He's like, I want a woman who works. It's like these women that want you to pay for everything and pay all the bills. Where they do that at when the median household income is $50,000? You see what I'm saying? 50,000, and that's a household, right? Yeah, you know, baby boomers was a must, But if you take a $50,000 median household income, and then we say the average rent or mortgage is what, 2,500 to $3,000. Like an apartment in LA is stupid. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like who's paying for all of that? You know what I'm saying?
So don't put that on me.
Hey, look.
Oh Lord, not all of you, but
okay. Hey, listen. I'll reserve just them boomers with some. Okay,
that's
let's just say that. But y'all, we're going to make a shift real quick and move into our final thoughts. And final thoughts are going to be a little bit different this week. I will not have any final thoughts on the subject, but we are going to hand the stage over to Dre for a very special final thoughts on our first week back off of our hiatus.
Oh, thank you. I'm just gonna let these last couple of comments ride. Baby boomers are the reason y'all are here, and no, we didn't. The baby boomers are fighting back in the chat, and that's totally okay. You will have your day. So I just wanted to, publicly say thank you. There's some of you who know, and there are probably some of you who do not know, but we've been on a bit of a hiatus because my dad passed away on October 30th, which was also my second wedding anniversary. And so #Boo and I were away in Japan, and the day that we got back, within those few hours, I got the call to come, and he passed the day that we got back home. And I just want to, publicly say thank you for those of you who did know, and you reached out and understood there was just an immediate silence and an extended silence. Even when we did the Father's Day episode with Kirk Franklin, and we were talking about our dads, that time was very, very hard for me because my dad was already battling so much. But I'm grateful for the life that he lived. A lot of things that, and I said this about my mom when she came on too. I was like, a lot of things about me that you may like or maybe not, came from the both of them. And I am honored to be his daughter. I'm honored to have been able to serve him in the way that I have, particularly this past year. We always make jokes out of the fact that, I could literally be streaming from anywhere. You wouldn't know where I was. And a lot of that is because I was a caregiver for a lot of years. And when life took me across the state line, I would have to travel back and forth to make sure that it's okay. And so he is indeed more than okay at this point. God chose to answer our prayer by bringing him home and giving him a heavenly body. And so even though it hurts tremendously and I miss him every single day, um, I'm just glad that I got a chance to be his daughter. And there are no unspoken words. There are no regrets, and there's joy and peace in my heart at the end of the day. So, if you would oblige me, there's just a tribute that I wrote to him. I definitely want to dedicate this show and everything that I do henceforth, really, to my dad, Charles Vernell McGee. Who also loved the fact, those of you who were at my wedding, he was ecstatic to the point of great tears that that I was getting married, not just getting married, but would be with someone who has indeed continued to love and care for me even through this particular situation. And so I would say before it was a hashtag, my dad was a girl dad and a great one. He taught me so much by word, but also in his actions. Some things were what to do. Some things were what not to do. And he never shied away from the tough conversations or questions, often giving me space to feel or process my emotions, even though he may not have directly understood my feelings, as a girl. As I became an adult, I realized he was more than just my dad. He was a man who had experienced more loss by the time he was a young adult than anyone should have. And yet he navigated life in a way that displayed hope and trust in God that there would be a brighter day. He taught me by word and deed when it came to work ethic. He excelled in his primary career in law enforcement and then simultaneously as a stylist and barber. He had a penchant for looking nice and having nice things and experiences, but he also worked hard so that his family would be taken care of and have access to those things as well. There's seemingly a never-ending list of things that my daddy did for me, experiences he exposed me to, and places he took me. And yet my little heart was always overjoyed just to be with him, snuggled on the couch to watch TV or a movie, and almost instantly to have him be knocked out on the couch. But I always remember him as an early riser, tackling the day to head to roll call before the sun rose. Sacrifice, delayed gratification, work hard, play hard. He taught me by word and deed. He was always proud of me. He told me and showed me. He would tell everyone he could about my report cards in school, going to USC, joining a sorority, starting a business, and as of late, getting married. But I was proud of him too. I bragged on him as much as he bragged on me. Who showed up to school in the black Porsche 911 with McDonald's for lunch or to pick me up early to ride bikes at Venice Beach because he was off on Mondays? My cool daddy. Who made fun times with me, family fun times with all of my cousins who were my first and favorite friends. My daddy, the super uncle, who was at plays, piano recitals, and school events, whether I had one paragraph or just one line. My dependable daddy, who worked not just to provide necessities, but the fun stuff that I probably wasn't supposed to have in the first place. My spoiling daddy, who gave me my incessant love for music and lyrics. My singing and instrument playing daddy, who delivered needed wisdom and maintained high expectations and non-negotiable boundaries for behavior. My tender but firm daddy, who taught me how to throw punches and perfect the infamous crossface takedown. My protective daddy, who took the time to change things about himself that he didn't like and make amends where he could. My repentant and humble daddy, who taught me to let go of offense that I absolutely wanted to carry. My forgiving daddy, who never gave up on his own situation, no matter how it looked, and inspired my personal belief. my God-fearing, faith-filled daddy, who instilled a value and worth in my heart that I will carry for the rest of my life. My adoring and loving daddy. These are the ways that I knew him, and I will always cherish and remember him. And I love him, and thank you for the space to process, even here with you as I do each and every day. For those of you who knew my dad, you know these words are true, but even if you never met him, I hope that you have a picture of the type of man that he was.
I love you.
I love you too.
So I'm not saying anything after that. We thank y'all for being here with us. We thank y'all for all of your support. For those of you who have been here for my best friend, we thank you. And yeah, so that's that's the show.
That is the show.
That's the show. And
we tried to hold it to the end. I didn't want to cry on y'all in the beginning. I didn't want to cry.
Yeah. I just didn't, yeah, no, but we thank y'all. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We love you, Dre. And you know what? Just today, Andrea, and we're not even. This is the moment is an Andrea moment. For those of y'all who didn't know, Dre Renee is just her moniker. But y'all, we will see y'all next time. And in closing, always remember, be free
to be you.
We love
Have
y'all.
a great one. Love you.